Hey, what's up folks? Michael here with Primal Edge. In today's video, we're going over the basics of how to perform a saddle stitch. Saddle stitching is one of the most basic means of sewing leather. So today, I'm going to show you how to do a saddle stitch by hand. In last week's top 10 tools for leatherwork, link below, we covered how to thread a needle, but high level. So I'll show you here again. Once you've got your length of thread, you're going to want to pass the thread through the needle, the eye of the needle. Like that. And give yourself a few inches here. There's no need to be stingy. Then you're going to split the thread right down the middle like that. You can see how it's gone through the thread right here. Then you'll pull it through, take up some of the slack, and voila. So now we have a needle on both ends, which is essential if you want to do a saddle stitch. Now if you have a stitching pony, you could use that. It's not critical, but it's helpful. To show you can do it without a pony, I'm doing it here on the tabletop. Also, before you go out there and buy a stitching pony, they're pretty easy to make. I have a video I'll link below showing you how to make it yourself. Okay, so when you're ready to begin stitching, keep one thing in mind: crisscross. It's nothing more than a series of back and forth stitching. I've got some sample leather here and have already set the holes to begin. If you guys want a video on how to do this, respond to the survey right here. Also, if you're into these type of videos, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you as part of the community. And stay tuned to the end. I'll have a bonus tip that'll guarantee your stitching will look amazing. When you're ready for that first stitch and everything is aligned properly, start the process by stitching first in the second hole. It, at least for me, gives me a very secure start to your project. Pull the needle through, and just like lacing your shoes, be sure you've got even lengths on both sides. At this point, you're set up, pretty much. Now I'm going to use one of these clamps, again, as proof that you don't need a stitching pony. So I'll just set it up like this, hold it up, and now we have to decide, left to right or right to left. It makes no real difference where you start. It does, however, matter that once you start, you stick to that pattern. It makes for a much cleaner and more uniform job. Now, as I said before, we started in the second hole. By doing so, we can create a lock stitch that makes for a very secure start to the project. To begin, you'll go back to that first hole, remembering your pattern, left to right or right to left, whichever. Pull the needle all the way through. Then take the other needle and do the same, going back through to the other side. Moving very slowly and very methodically. This will complete your first stitch. Pull it tight, and you don't have to go batshit crazy tight, just snug. Next step, you're ready to go back through the original holes you started in, the second set. Again, right to left or left to right, however you started your particular pattern. Take note of the loop I left here. Pull back on the thread to give yourself room for the return. You'll notice how I went through the loop. Almost like a knot, only not a knot. It's more of a knot than a knot. Now you've begun a very tight, very secure first stitch. All that's left to do is to repeat this process all the way down. Right, left, right, over and over. I always try to go in front of the stitch on my return. This is a bit tricky to do with the camera in my way. In through here. Don't forget to pass through the loop to make the knot. And there you go. Pull it snug. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time and mind the pattern. I'm very careful not to pierce the thread when I'm going back and forth through the holes. If I come in here and I go back out here like this, that's an empty hole. It's clear. But now there's thread there. I'll slide the thread back then when I'm coming through. I'm extra careful not to pierce the thread. Trust me, I speak from experience. If you're careful, you'll be able to spot it before you send the needle all the way through, and it's easy to course correct. Just pull out the needle and start again. If you rush, you'll send that needle right through, and that is, well, just don't do it. It's just a matter of repeating this over and over. Right over to the left, pull it most of the way through, go back left to right, through the hole, moving slowly and intentionally, then the next hole. Like that, just as before. Back again, rinse and repeat. One more time. Right to left, most of the way through the hole. From the left to the right, and once again through the loop, over and over. Okay, last time. So when you get to the end, let's get rid of this. We don't really need it right now. Just like in the beginning, go back one hole and do a back stitch. Just like before, starting from the right, over to the left, then back again. Pay extra attention here. This is going to be the one place where you're most likely to pierce the thread, like I mentioned earlier. Now we have a lock stitch at the beginning and a lock stitch at the end. Very secure. This is not going anywhere. But now we need to figure out how to tie this off. There are a few ways to accomplish this, but here's the easiest, in my humble opinion anyway. We have to decide which is your outside. Let's say you're making a knife sheath. This side may be outside, and this is the side that rests against your leg, while this is the side that's open to the public. You'll want this side to be neat, so you'll put the needle from the outside, the side everyone will see, through to the back side. Keep going back the way you came. You've already doubled up with a lock stitch here. Don't use those holes again. Go back. You can see here how the needle doesn't want to play. This is where the awl comes in. Gently and gingerly wiggle it into the hole and make sure your path is clear. Now I can come back through here and pull it through. Now we have both threads on one side. You can cut off the excess now or wait till later. I'm doing it now so you can see better. And all that is left to do is to tie it off. Nothing special, just a common overhand knot or whatever. Then we'll take a lighter, burn it close to the knot head, melt it down, smash it flat. Same on this one. Burn it down, melt it, smash it flat. That, my friends, will never come loose. With that, you can now say you know how to saddle stitch. But one last bit of advice, as promised. You have got to practice. Many folks just get the mechanics, like they'll watch a video like this one and proceed to go ahead and learn on the fly. Meaning they're happy to get their practice in on what I call critical builds. Instead of sewing up every scrap of leather they can find, they choose to use projects that have to be perfect, or at least very nice. And that adds a lot of pressure. Take the pressure off your plate. Practice on junk and get it right. It doesn't take as much time as you might think. Just get the practice. Do 5, 10, 15 of these. You can cut this thread out and restitch this over and over and over again. Thread's cheap, needles are cheap. Just get the practice. You'll be happy you did. Folks, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give me a like and let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thanks again for watching. You all have a great day, and I'll see you soon.